From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, March the 22nd, 2019. We open with U.S. President Donald Trump's declaration yesterday that it was time for the U.S. to fully recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, stating it was of critical strategic and security importance to the state of Israel and regional stability. The statement came during the visit of U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to Israel. Pompeo and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the press after the announcement, where Netanyahu praised the decision and what it means for Israeli security and for the U.S.-Israel alliance.
He did so at a time when Iran is trying to use Syria as a platform to attack and destroy Israel. And the message that President Trump has given the world is that America stands by Israel.
Pompeo spoke of the Israeli soldiers who fought and died in the region during the Six-Day War.
Tonight, President Trump made the decision to recognize that hard-fought real estate, that important place, is proper to be a sovereign part of the state of Israel. President Trump made a bold decision to recognize that an important decision for the people of Israel. It will truly be historic. And the people of Israel should know that the battles they fought, the lives that they lost on that very ground were worthy and meaningful and important for all time.
The American Jewish Committee welcomed the announcement, writing, "The events in Syria have proven that the entire region is safer with Israel in control of this territory." B'nai B'rith International asked, does anyone realistically think, given the destructive, chaotic civil war that has racked Syria for much of the past decade, that Israel should put itself in existential danger by returning the Golan to its sworn enemies? The Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations wrote they appreciate the recognition of the importance of Israel maintaining control over the Golan Heights, given the increasingly dangerous and volatile situation with Syrian, Hezbollah, Iranian forces, and militias across the border. The European Union said they will not follow in Trump's footsteps. A spokesperson for EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini, Maja Kozjancic, said the European Union, in accordance with international law, does not recognize Israel's sovereignty over the territories it occupied since July of 1967, including the Golan Heights, and does not consider them as part of Israeli territory. Turkey, Syria, Russia, and Iran condemned the U.S. recognition. Nearly 10,000 Palestinians took part in riots along the Gaza security fence today, throwing explosive devices and rocks at IDF soldiers and trying to damage the security fence. IDF troops responded with tear gas and occasional live fire when necessary. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry said that 2 Palestinian rioters had been killed. Yediot Aharonot reports that during the riots today, Palestinians launched an explosive device connected to a styrofoam plane and a cluster of balloons towards Israeli territory. It was located in the Eshkol Regional Council. More incendiary devices were sent over the fence today, igniting fires in Israeli territory. Yesterday, Israeli tanks targeted a Hamas post in Gaza in response to similar devices launched into Israel and to what they called exceptional violent rioting along the fence. And in the West Bank last night, 2 Israelis were lightly hurt after a Molotov cocktail was thrown at their vehicle near Nablus. The IDF said the 2 received medical treatment at the scene and were then taken to the hospital. A search for suspects was ongoing. While the United Nations Human Rights Council voted today to adopt a report accusing Israel of crimes against humanity during violent Palestinian riots in Gaza last year. The vote passed 23 in favor, 8 against, with 15 abstentions. Israel's Foreign Ministry's spokesperson said of the outcome, the Human Rights Council repeated today its absurd, hypocritical ritual of creating a commission of inquiry, singling out Israel, whose findings against Israel are predetermined, and then adopting them, all the while ignoring reality on the ground. A later vote today on permanent agenda item number 7, which states that alleged Israeli human rights violations must be debated at every council session, passed as well. However, It should be noted that all EU member states opposed that measure, citing imbalance and bias against Israel. The measure still passed, though, 26-16. Students at Brown University voted in favor yesterday of boycotting Israel by a more than 2-to-1 margin. Their referendum calls for the school to divest from companies that profit from, quote, Israeli violations of human rights, and accuses the school of furthering such actions by cooperating with Israel or with companies that do business with Israel. Brown Students for Israel, including members of the school's Jewish fraternity Bedero Pi, wrote of the vote's passing, "This referendum is a defeat for all students who believe there is a better way to pursue peace between Israelis and Palestinians, who seek intellectually honest discourse about Israel and the conflict, and who prioritize a safe and inclusive community at Brown." Brown's administration has not yet commented on the students' vote. Turning now to some sports news, All-Star third baseman Alex Bregman has reportedly signed a 6-year, $100 million contract with the Astros, said to be the largest ever contract for a Jewish athlete. Sports Illustrated's Ben Reiter wrote that Bregman shared his baseball ambitions at his bar mitzvah in 2007. Telling his congregation, "I want to be a professional athlete who plays for the love of the game, never quits, trying to give my best, and is a good role model for all of the kids who look up to baseball players." And a quick correction for you. We had reported to you on Monday that Blair Braverman was believed to be the first Jewish woman to finish the Iditarod sled dog race in Alaska. However, that title actually goes to Alaskan resident Susan Cantor, who completed the race back in 1992. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, March the 22nd. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by a Shabbat a cappella concert. Then at 8, Borscht Belt comedians speak at the 92nd Street Y, and at 9, it's the film Circumcise Me. At 10, it's kosher movies, and then Musica. And coming up right after this newscast, a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, March the 22nd, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.